Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. Pokemon Legends ZA comes out in 2025, and with the last Legends title, players were able to choose from a new set of 3 existing starter Pokemon that eventually evolved and got new regional forms for their final evolutions. Today, we're going to be taking a look at every single starter Pokemon and try to predict what we will receive in Legends ZA. My name is DustyGogoat. Today, I'm with the LumiosePost.
Hi, I have no face.
Where'd your face go? And SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
How you guys doing?
We're good.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm doing
we're
good.
We're gonna talk about
here.
starter Pokemon
you can't
today.
see me, but I'm here.
No, I can't see you. Yeah, full details on the on this week's secret power. Let's get something out of the way, right? I mean, listen, if you haven't played Pokemon Legends Arceus, right, the only actual Legends title, Pokemon Legends title that we have, in that game, you get to choose from a range of Pokemon, starter Pokemon that were found in other regions, Pokemon that were from Johto, Unova, and Alola. And I feel like I think that's one of the most iconic things about Legends Arceus. So I really think we will be receiving another set of starter Pokemon in this way. I really do think that's gonna happen.
I agree with you. Can I present the counter argument?
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think the big counter argument that people do have for why this could not be the case for ZA is that when Legends Arceus had come out, it was 2 months after the release of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So using the Sinnoh starters again just didn't make sense because the Sinnoh starters had just been used in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So let's give you a new batch of them for this Sinnoh game. Whereas, X and Y, we have not had a Kalos game since X and Y, which was 2013. So when this game comes out, almost 12 years ago. So there is more of a reason that it could be Froakie, Finnegan, Chespin. I'm not arguing for that.
No, I get that's fair. I would say
that people have made.
Yeah, I would say the idea is that these starter Pokemon in World have been selected and the pairings have been developed for starting trainers in each of their regions. But back in the day, right, if this game does exist in a similar time period or at least in a similar setting to Legends Arceus, I think we're going to see a similar thing where the starter trio that we know in that region, in that playable experience of Kalos, is going to be kind of custom made depending on the circumstances of the story. I think to me, it's no different than you play Colosseum and there's no professor, so you're not getting the 3 Hoenn starters. You're just getting 2 evolutions, right?
Or do you get proper the evolutions, or you get just EVs that become them, or?
You just get Espeon and Umbreon.
Espeon and Umbreon.
They're
already there.
I've never played it.
They started at level 20 or something.
I've never played it either.
Yeah,
that's cool though.
It's
cool.
It's a game for another time. It's very nostalgic for me, but let's keep going.
Oh boy, people are gonna go crazy.
Yeah. I like it.
To rope it back, I think that it doesn't even need to be set back in time for them to do that, because I do agree with you, Dusty. To me, fundamentally, that was a huge part of what made Legends Arceus was the starter Pokemon being mismatched. And I think they could do it whether the time period's back then or not, because we see in other games like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Professor Birch gives you, after you beat the league, Piplup, Turtwig, Chimchar. Then he gives you, Cyndaquil, Totodile, Chikorita, right? So professors give you what they give you. You get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit with these professors. So if this professor this time around is I'm giving you freaking Totodile, Litten, and Snivy, you better not complain about it. And just saying, I know I wouldn't be.
Yeah, I think it also
please let it be them.
That's the best lineup. I just named 3 random ones, but that's the best lineup.
Yeah, I think another thing is that the fact that the option to choose from a new set of 3 starters, I think fundamentally changes the experience. It just further changes the experience of Kalos, right? If we are going back to Kalos, right? If there is ever a true remake, that is when it should just be a carbon copy of what came before. But to emphasize that this is a different experience, I think the starter selection should also be different. I think Pokemon is about making choices right? In real life, when you're at the store and you see red and blue, you have to make a choice immediately what side you're choosing, right? That's an initial.
Even before then, when you see the trailer and decide, do you want to even play Pokemon?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's already a choice. It's like normally a game comes out and it's but like we just watched, like you watch a Nintendo Direct, they show a game, you go, that looks interesting. But if at the end of it goes, you can choose this version or this version, whether you even bought into the game, you're already thinking to yourself, like, which one should I choose? So I think to emphasize these choices and to highlight how Legend ZA is a different world, right, and is a different playable experience from X and Y, I think the starter Pokemon is a symbol of that. So personally, I just think it's like a no-brainer. We will receive a new set of starters. That's my prediction. And here's the thing, Zach, just to add one more thing. I do think, when we play X and Y, Professor Sycamore does give you a second set of starters. You get the Kanto starters. I think this would be a great opportunity in Legend ZA for whoever the professor is or whoever to give us the Kalos starters, because in the context of Legend ZA, it's the X and Y games that are actually nostalgic. And maybe those are the Pokemon that get megas or something. Yeah. But maybe we're just doing.
I think that would be really cool. But then that's the thing, is that's the question, right? Are we going to get mixed match starters that have a regional form for their final evolution, and on top of that, the Kalos starters get mega evolutions? Maybe we will. Maybe the answer is yes. I'm just asking. Do we think that?
Yeah. We've had these questions for months now, which is it's good, but that is the question, like, because there's so many different options about what could happen. I think the most likely scenario is what Dusty said, like that we get 3 different starters. I'm less confident in like getting another pair of starters that get megas or something. Yeah. Like maybe they give us like another pair of starters, like just the Kalos starters, but they don't get anything. Or like the same as like.
The thing that makes me
Kanto
most think that the Kalos starters could get something like and be the second set is the whole Ash Greninja.
You went out there, Zach. Are you here?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And just a side note, if you're able to turn your volume up at all, that'd be nice.
Like on my mic.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't have a gain control, but I'll just hold it really close to my face.
Okay.
Is that better?
Or just speak up or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that they could. The number one reason that makes me think they could do mega evolutions for the Kalos starters is the Ash Greninja stuff. We've talked about it on here a while. That they have completely retconned Ash Greninja from existence, which is just kind of a weird thing to do if you don't have something planned. You could argue, okay, but Ash Greninja,
and that was this generation, and
even
Generation
in the
9.
name, it was this generation. Now, yes and no, because it was last gen that they retconned him out of the anime, and then this gen they retconned him out of the games because Greninja wasn't in any of the Gen 8 games. But I think, my thing is, like, why would they get rid of that if they don't have something else they're wanting to give Greninja? But the flip side of that is, like, well, maybe they wanted to do it because it's so intrinsically tied to Ash. I mean, it's right there in the name, Ash Greninja, and Ash is no longer the protagonist. So it's like, as younger players start to play these games, it's like, what the heck is even this,
Yeah.
Which is a terrible thought to think that younger players probably won't know who Ash Ketchum is.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
But then the flip side to that is, okay, but they left all the Ash Pikachus in. I can transfer in my Ash Hat Pikachus.
Can you?
So, like, it's
probably just because there's too much work, though. Like, it's just too much work to take out all the Pikachus.
Well, so I think barring that speculation, right? Barring that speculation, I think we should just start ranking or start getting into some of the reasons why, some of these starters deserve to be,
I'll give
in
you a little
Legend ZA.
Yeah, I'll give you a little background to the whole thing. It's just like, so the next question is, like, do they actually get regional forms, or do they get megas? Like, we don't know. Like, even if we get mixed starters, are they getting regional forms? Or are they getting megas? Because it's just a big deciding factor in what their forms end up being, or who gets picked, because like I've said multiple times, like Piplup especially is one of the biggest ones where it's like it's already French coded. It's already like Napoleon Bonaparte.
Literally Napoleon, yeah.
It's like as French as you can get. So it would not really make sense. They could do it because they did it with Samurott basically, but
that's funny. Maybe let's set this up. That is funny. I want another layer of setup, right? So when we got the announcement of Pokemon Legends ZA, it takes place in the Kalos region. Your favorite YouTuber, probably us. I think actually I did on my channel. We all made a video predicting.
I feel like I came up with these theories.
Yeah, saying. Dude, maybe. And what everyone decided, right? Everyone picked basically the 3 most French related starter Pokemon and said those are the starters we're gonna get because they're already French, and that does make sense. So that's kind of what we're trying to work through right now.
But it could be the opposite in the same time. Like they're already French, so why would they try to do that? You know, they could go to some other Pokemon and make them French instead. You know what I mean? Or make them city-like.
Absolutely. I'm totally with you. Right? It's like the 3 Pokemon people picked were Snivy, Piplup, and Scorbunny. Scorbunny was like because of like soccer or whatever.
I say slash.
Snivy as well.
What is it?
Game reason?
There's a bit of game reason for Snivy as well.
They're 100%.
Superior is featured on the gate of the Parfum Palace, which is an incredibly important place to Colosian history. And so the idea is, you know, if we're set in the past and we're a character that's going to, like in Legends Arceus, that character is obviously the character you play as. It's obviously very important to Sinnoh history. So if we're very important to the Colosian history, you know, it kind of makes sense to make a gate that has our ace right there on it, you know?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Another thing, though, about Snivy, I'm just going to say it now. I kind of wait sometimes to, like, say my points, but I'm just going to say it now before I forget. But another thing about Snivy is that you guys have heard us talk about that we think maybe there's a black and white remake coming in 2025.
I'm starting to... Yeah, okay, go.
I'm just saying, even if it comes or if it doesn't, if there is one, would we get Snivy twice? Because we would have Snivy, like...
Yeah, I don't think
in
it
the
matters.
first... We would... Yeah, I think it does. I just think about...
Sure, with Sinnoh, with the Sinnoh games, that's a good point.
Think about BDSP and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like, I do not think they'll give us Snivy twice. And that's why Snivy, to me, is, like, one of the least ones.
Yeah.
Like... Because I believe in the black and white remake,
sure.
But if you don't, then it doesn't matter. But like, if there is one, I'm just like, I don't think Snivy's gonna be both. Like, I don't, especially if one's before the other. Like, if we get like a regional form of Snivy and then normal Snivy, I don't know. But so Snivy is like in question. My whole point with making tweets about this like multiple times is that I'm trying to push back a little bit on this trio because people are so confident. People are like, this is what it's going to be. And like when it happens, I'm almost like 100% confident it's not going to be exactly what fans think.
No,
that's just not how it is. But
I love it. So I think to maybe like add to your point, even if for listeners, even if you don't, and we don't know, right? We don't know if there's ever going to be a Gen 5 remake in this generation. Fine, whatever. Even if you don't believe that, I think the number one thing for me is that these 3 starters being so French means that they don't need a Colosian form. It doesn't make sense to have a French-coded Pokemon to have a specific French-coded regional evolution, right? If anything, they are how they are, especially in Kalos, right? It's not until you bring them to a Japanese region that maybe then they change. So that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. That was my point for a very long time. And even Snivy, again, takes a hit from Parfum Palace because... For that palace, it's regular superior that's on the gate doors. Like, so why wouldn't they put like a Colosian, Lumio superior on the gates if it exists? You know, like especially if this is in the past. But
I have an answer for that. If you would like me to answer that.
Yeah, I do. Just hold the thought 1 second, because I'm just like, there is also the whole thing where it's like they could still do regional forms for them. But it just seems more interesting. Like they could do megas.
Okay, so you're right here. You're saying superior shows up on the gates, not Snivy. Wow.
No, but I'm saying like that's not a
Yeah, that's what we
Kalos
had said.
superior. That's still Unnovan
Yeah,
superior
that's
in
yeah,
Kalos.
exactly. Yeah. Because it is already okay. That's beautiful.
Yeah. But like they could. So the question is, do they do a regional form that is like a different version of a French superior or Empoleon, or do they just megas make them more of what they are? So like an Empoleon that is a mega Empoleon would be even more French coded, would be even more Napoleon.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway,
No, I
what
like
were you
that.
gonna say?
I like that.
Yeah, I think for one, we could always just see a recolored superior. I mean, if you look, Samurai and Typhlosion, they were practically recolored with just some minor aesthetic changes. And especially when you think that this is a stylized version of Superior too, right? But then also too, in the Parfum Palace, like inside the actual Parfum Palace, there's a bunch of B sharp, like statues or like busts, really, like just the head.
I'm hoping that's a King Gambit like variant.
Then there is the interesting thing is there's the B sharp ones, but then there's this one that seems to be like a more teched out B sharp. And so the theory there is like that was King Gambit. And like for the longest time, I remember back in X and Y, people were like, I wonder if B Sharp's going to get a Mega Evolution. That's what this is, because, Megas were the thing then.
That's pretty
cool.
And
then that kind of ended up coming to fruition with King Gambit. So you could like make the argument that even though that thing doesn't look just like King Gambit, same thing here, because obviously Game Freak back then was not planning the Colosian Superior design. But I think the biggest thing is if they do get Megas instead of a regional form, exactly what you said, Soul. Megas enhance the design. So Megas just take that French and they shove it more in your face. Maybe now Empoleon's holding a baguette and Superior is eating a croissant,
No, I think it makes sense.
It makes sense for those three. If we get Megas, then those three, it does feel like that. And even Litten, too. I have to add Litten, because Litten actually, to me, makes more sense than Scorbunny.
Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
I think that makes
Litten
sense.
is a popular option, though, too. A lot of people think Litten instead of Scorbunny. Not sure.
I feel like the thing I've seen the most is Snivy, Piplup, and Litten.
Yeah, because black cats are totally a French or even specifically Parisian thing. So like from Paris,
Aristocats.
The city is known for cats, like the cats of Paris. So like it's just
Valid.
Even Sprigatito could get a shot. The only reason that she isn't is because it's just happened, which we'll get into right now with like moving them around on this tier table.
No, I love this. Yeah, well, let's do that. Yeah, because honestly, we can talk about all of this as we go.
I mean, that's just setting the frame, though. So these 4 are really good as megas. But if we are going with what we think, which is we really think they're going to be mixed starters with regional forms, then it opens the door up to many more of these becoming an option. It's not just that.
And here's another thing: what if listen, regional forms are exciting, right? But I think also like in universe. In the Pokemon world, the regional form isn't like really that special. It's just like, that's what the Pokemon does. In this region, it just happens to evolve into this Pokemon. It's not really an option. Your starter will always become that regional form. But then how do you put the cherry on top? I think that's when you add the Mega to the regional form, which...
Well, that's a whole nother topic as well.
Yeah.
Which some people believe that, but I think it's
regional forms and then a Mega.
I don't think that's not that crazy.
I think it's insane.
It's not that
crazy.
It's not crazy because we haven't seen it before.
Yeah.
Like they stopped giving us Megas right as they give us regional forms. But now that we have regional forms,
I think the idea is you have to look at Kalos and Kalos, or not Kalos, but Gen 6 rather specifically, like where the Megas that were given out, they only gave one Kalos Pokemon a Mega, and that was Diancie, and that's because it's a mythical, so it's supposed to have like a special edge, and then they also gave only one Unova Pokemon, Audino, which was a little random. But I think that like that's
your audio
an important thing to talk about, because that is Pokemon that are brand new. These are new designs. Why would we give this a Mega? Mega Charizard Y gives Charizard a new design,
right?
But
they're your starter.
Why would I give a new design a new design? You know what I mean?
But here's my pushback on it too. Is like we're already getting something new though, and then then they're just gonna downplay that newness or that
No, you're not
that new
downplaying
feature.
it. Because
You're getting
kinda are.
Colossian.
No, 'cause here's what it is, the
Why
region-
do you need Mega Colossian?
Because most of the game is played and you interact with the Pokemon mostly when it's in its standard form. So listen, if I'm playing Legends Arceus and I have my Hisuian Samurott, that's great. But when I'm maybe there's, when I'm in battle, there's the agile, there's the strong, and then there's the mega form, right? And I can choose that if I want just for battle. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it.
That's a dated perception of megas, though. I think Legends
Sure.
Arceus, because Legends ZA.
Yeah.
Because Legends Arceus was so not battle focused, and we do know that this game is also going to be a JRPG, so like action game. So we know that at least it should function similar. There should be action elements similar to Legends Arceus. So that leads me to believe this will also not be battle focused. And if it's not battle focused, then that makes me think that they're going to change the way the megas work. You're saying,
Sure.
but in the overworld, my Samurot's just a Samurott. Well, I think that there's a chance that in the overworld, your Lucario could be a Mega Lucario.
Honestly, and if that's the case,
I've always said, like, Gogoat you ride on, but then you can Mega Evolve Gogoat, and now you can dash and maybe tear down walls or something.
No, absolutely. In Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, you're able to like Mega Evolve your Latios or Latias, and ride it in the overworld indefinitely, just like for as long as you want. There's no battle. It's like a mechanic. It's a ride mechanic, and I'm totally with you. If that is the case, that we can Mega Evolve our Pokemon in the overworld and use them to solve tasks or to navigate the region, I am so down to not get regional forms, because here's the thing: in this game, these Megas function like a new form for the starter Pokemon, right? Yeah. Let's say you get your Superior and it Mega Evolves, and it can just be Mega Evolved for the entire time that you're just in the overworld.
That'd be amazing.
That's amazing.
I agree. I totally agree. But
it does the job.
Yeah.
But
we'll see if that happens.
All right,
and if that does happen, Snivy, Piplup, and Scorbunny or Litten are very likely. These four are very likely.
So let's do this.
I will say that they are still the most likely, other than maybe Snivy.
Okay, so. We've got 9 generations of starters. Let's do this. Let's eliminate the starter Pokemon that were in Pokemon Legends Arceus. That would be Cyndaquil. Where is it? Cyndaquil.
They're not getting anything.
Oshawott, Rowlet. You done.
There is a small chance.
No.
Let's just say
maybe they get. I could see them getting Megas.
They could get Megas. I would think it'd be ridiculous if they made them our starters that we pick again.
Oh yeah, no shot.
I don't think that's happening.
That's no.
That would be funny if they made them like the EVs of like regional variants. Like anytime there's a Legends game, your starter will be Rowlet, Oshawott, and Cyndaquil.
That would suck. Just actually,
there's a Cantonian Decidueye and a Jotonian Decidueye.
Yeah, but so for the purpose of this episode, we're asking about the starters that we're going to get, not like extra starters. So they're out anyway. No matter what, I'd say there's like a 1% chance that maybe.
I personally would rule out the Kanto and Hoenn starters, just because they have Megas, and so I think that for one, they have the Megas. But let me cook. Yeah, they have like the reason that I'm not ruling out the Kalos starters is because they don't have Megas. I could totally see a universe where our starters are Fennekin, Froakie, and Chespin, and we're going to get Megas for them. But the thing is with these is that they have Megas, so you could say, okay, well maybe they'll give them regional variants. But my thing with that is, if you give them a regional variant, well now they don't have the Mega in that game, and I feel like if they're going to have them in these games, if Blastoise is going to be in this game, they're going to want us to have Mega Blastoise. The only ones I'm leaning a little less on is Torchic, Mudkip, and Trico, because they are not in the Kalos decks, but like Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle they're in the Kalos decks.
Yeah, so I would push back on that only a little bit, because I do think us Pokemon fans like to look at things and be like, well, it hasn't been done before, and I think our brains break when we try to imagine anything fitting into 2 categories, right? Like for the longest time, the example I'll use is Scyther evolved into Scizor, and Scizor had a Mega, so people were saying Scyther would never get anything ever again. And then it got Cleavor. So I'm like, the way I'm thinking about this, like I do see what you're saying.
Can't get forms because they have Megas. If this was Legends Alola, I'd be putting them up there with the others. I'm saying that I don't think they'll get regionals this game because this game is centered around Megas. and they have megas. So I would think that if I was Game Freak, I want to showcase Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y because I'm marketing this game partly on Mega Evolution returning. I don't want to erase those two game.
I'm with you with the Kanto starters, but I think also the Kanto starters. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't think they want to touch the Kanto starters because they would potentially overshadow. Like if Squirtle is in the mix, is one of the starter choices. I think it just overshadows some of the other ones.
Maybe. I think this comes back to the whole question of like, are we getting regional forms or megas? That's really we should be doing two different ones, but since we're mixing them all together, it gets a little more complicated.
It's just like, what are the starters going to be?
Yeah.
But like,
as megas though, it's tough to say. I would rule them out for megas, but I wouldn't rule them out for regional forms. So it's like,
really, you wouldn't?
Well, not Torchic especially.
Not the Hoenn ones. Yeah, not the Hoenn ones.
Maybe the Kanto ones, but honestly, I could see like a Kanto starter in the group. I really could.
No, I did say that, and I definitely can see Bulbasaur next to something else. I think Bulbasaur or Squirtle. You're right. It's not Charmander. I think if the selection was Charmander and Oshawott and Rowlet, no one's picking the other two, right? Yeah, I mean, obviously people would pick it, but
definitely picking Rowlet.
Is you have to think these are like symbols of Mega Evolution too. And maybe that's my own perception, but just because in X and Y, the first Mega Stone that you will receive is a Charizardite or a Venusaurite, a Blastoiseite. So they're your first, like even if they don't evolve all the way by the time you get the Lucario, they are your first Mega Stone you're given. So I feel like they're just so intrinsically tied to Mega Evolution that like for this game, they would want them to be Mega Evolution.
I think that's fair.
I don't think that Inteleon having a G-Max rules out Inteleon as a starter for this game. Okay, so it's not about I don't think it can have two forms. It's that I think that this game's about Megas, so we're going to leave the Mega Pokemon alone because they got to.
I just had an idea, and I want to throw something into the mix.
More so for the Kanto ones.
I want to throw something into the mix. Mechanically, when we think about how, if there were regional Pokemon that evolved, how would that work? I do not think they would get an Alolan Persianite. I think it would just get like pick a Pokemon, whatever. Like if there's a Colosian Charmander, it's still getting. That's complicated because there's two. If there's a Colosian Blastoise, it's still gonna just get a Blastonoisite, whatever. However you say that. What I'm saying is, I think it actually could be really seamless for a Colosian Pokemon to just use a standard Mega Stone because it's still that Pokemon, right? Like if Mega Evolution.
By that logic, then we know of a new Mega Evolution.
What?
Galarian Slowbro.
That's interesting. Yeah, because
there's a Slowbroite. So if I throw that Slowbroite on my Galarian Slowbro, is it going to?
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't even know that existed. I forgot about that.
What I imagine they would do is just like to use Slowbro as the example. The Slowbroite is called it might be Slowbro Knight. I don't know, but it's called the Slowbroite. That's what it's called. It's not the Cantonian Slowbroite. But I think like if they did want to give Alolan Persian, to use your example, a Mega, but not give it to Cantonian Persian. I could see them just doing like a Persianite.
Yeah. It could just be specifically
just a dash Persianite.
But, talking about all this makes me just feel more and more like it's just going to be Megas and no regional forms.
If you could play
because
with
it's so convoluted, it's so confusing, and like, are the Game Freak people just sitting in a room talking about this too, or did they like think about this? Because they had to think about it. It's a lot to think about mixing the two together, I guess. So it's like, but I don't want to get into that conversation. We need to talk about the starters.
I also, I do have another point towards Piplup that I forgot to mention when we were talking about Piplup. So Piplup was added into Scarlet and Violet with the Teal Mask DLC. Along with Chimchar and Turtwig. And the interesting thing is they actually changed Empoleon's ability to be... its hidden ability used to be Defiant, and they changed it to competitive. Or it might have been Justified, now it's competitive. But either way, it's now competitive.
Okay.
And like I've seen people say like the fact that they went and kind of changed Piplup could be prep work because they're about to do something with Piplup.
I
if
mean,
they changed Incineroars, then we'd be like, oh.
Yeah, but there's no shot. I mean, they did give it Helping Hand for what that's worth, so they made it even more deadly.
I mean, listen.
No, I mean the ability though.
Yeah,
If
that's
they changed the.
That's
Or they
not
gave
like
it-
out of the
Incineroar.
question. I
It
do
ain't
feel
good.
like Game Freak has done stuff like that. They'll
Or it is good,
update.
I mean.
They'll update something small.
They have, but never a starter.
Okay, but never about starter. But that doesn't. But if they've done that method before, then it could apply. Just because they haven't done it
I
on a starter
agree,
doesn't mean it's
I
not going
agree,
to
but
happen on a starter. It
it's
just means they haven't done
weird.
it.
It is weird that was the only starter, though, is what I'm saying. Because all the starters were added back, and other starters need
But maybe
it,
they
and
didn't need to
Empoleon ain't
change
exclusive.
anything else, right?
What do you mean? They do, absolutely. Dude, you try to win a battle with a Meganium or a Sceptile.
It could be done.
It's bad.
It can be done, but you get what I mean. Like, Meganium and Sceptile, I don't think there's anybody who would disagree with me when I say that they needed more love than Empoleon did. So,
Yeah.
like, the logic is that, that might have been groundwork for something of, like it's prep work for, like, because we're trying to do
Well,
this. with
Grookey
Empoleon.
doesn't need to be changed as a grass starter because it's already really competitive.
Here's the thing, though. You said something really important. With regional forms, it's a little less, but with megas, they gave megas to Pokemon that like didn't need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we think of it as like, oh, this Pokemon
Some
needs
did, some
something.
didn't.
So, yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
some
a
did, some
mixed
didn't.
bag.
But
Like,
most of them,
Garchomp didn't need it, but Pinsir did.
Yeah, Absol needed
most
it.
of them are like
Bennett
strong
needed
Pokemon
it.
already, and they're like, oh, they can get stronger. You know what I mean? So for
I would say
megas,
it's pretty 50-50, honestly.
I think so, yeah. But the way they marketed it, like they marketed megas as like
every Pokemon on your
you-
screen right now needed it.
yeah. But then you go down to Garchomp, and then you go to
legendaries,
Honestly,
and
yeah.
starters.
No,
In fact, Garchomp's
No, I'm
actually
kinda
made
with
it
you.
worse.
that's
true.
that's funny. Actually, I'm kind of with you. I think what I think about it are these like pseudo legendary Pokemon and the legendaries. I think you're right, actually, Zach.
My
Most
point
of
is
these
just that I
Pokemon-
don't think that Game Freak looks at them and says, "Oh, this Pokemon needs it to like change it." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
even
I agree.
not even regional forms, like because they don't even get better when they get regional forms.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times they just
Yeah.
sometimes they're just the same. So, you know, like if Chikorita got a regional Meganium, it's not really going to change it that much. It's just going to give them a little bit of attention, which is nice, but it's not, you know, I don't know. It's a hard thing to factor in as well.
But, you say that, but, like, Hisuian Samurai is a billion times better than Samurai has always
Yeah, but that's
been
so
overlooked.
circumstantial, though. You know,
And
it's like
Hisuian Samurai was really good.
a metagame is an ecosystem, right? There's gonna be things that bubble to the top, but it's all circumstantial. In Gen 10, is Hisuian Samurai gonna be as good? Maybe not, because it might not
Maybe,
have access to the
probably.
same moves. There could be new
It's
threats.
going to have access to its signature move. You choice band Ceaseless Edge, you don't click anything else.
Sure, but that's like, it's like Game Freak can never control the meta. If they try to control the meta, new things will pop up to, to solve, to fill that hole
I mean,
or
they
whatever.
definitely do try to control the meta a little
I know,
bit.
but
They-
you
they
can't.
not control the
It's-
meta, but they definitely make things for this, like, with the intention of them being good, and it usually checks out. Like things like Palafin dominating the field, Dracovish back in its day dominating.
Yeah, my point is, whatever. You can't totally control it. You could add things that are, better, but like
I agree.
it's constantly changing.
But that's what I'm saying is the intent to change it with Piplup.
Sure, yeah, that is it. It's
kinda
interesting.
Because
You know,
they didn't.
it almost
add
makes
an
me think.
ability either. They straight up changed it. So like it's like they literally looked at it and went,
If-
it could really use some love here.
That is a big
change
deal.
this to that.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
Yeah,
Like,
it almost-
it'd be like if it was like the equivalent to like if they had given Sceptile sharpness and switched its attack stats.
Yeah. So I think, let's say this: PLA starters not going to be it. Kanto starters not going to be it. I think those are not likely.
probably not. They're not likely. But
Very large.
we will say I made a whole tweet about this and kind of inspired this video
Sure, yeah.
or episode. But Bulbasaur is a frog, technically.
This is hilarious. I read this as a French Canadian. I was like, "Damn, you gonna do us like that?"
I literally was like, but then, bro, Froakie is a frog in Paris or in France because of French frogs. Like that's literally.
Wouldn't that be funny if Game Freak's like, we're going back to the Kalos region and we're going to start it out by just giving a giant middle finger to all those people in France by making a reference to calling them frogs.
But they kind of did with Froakie. That's what I'm saying. They did with Froakie.
Oh, jeez.
Like literally what you just said is what they did.
You know what? What if they went like the convergent route, right? Like they do like
we got to stay on track.
No, but that is
Bulbasaur. Give us instead of Fennekin, well there's not really give us like I don't know, like a dog, so we'll say a cat. They give us Sprigatito as the grass, and then the fire was or the grass was Chespin. There's not really another hedgehog though, so that wouldn't work.
I literally, Dusty, it is on track to say that though, because that's like the final craziest theory is like, what if we don't get any of them and we get like brand new Pokemon that are convergent lookalikes of them, which is, I think it's so unlikely, but I even made a post about that today. Like, could they be our starters? You know.
Well,
like,
and then the question is, if that happened, who would they be in convergence of? Would they mix match those? Like, here's a convergence.
I think it's so. Yeah,
Oh,
it has to be
this
so
is
random.
stressing me out.
And here's a convergence of Snivy.
Let's go in. All right. So you have this tweet written out by it's by typing, I think. So, all right, Bulbasaur. That's a pretty low. I don't know. I don't think Bulbasaur is going to be it. I think the Kanto starters get eliminated just because they're Kanto starters. Moving on to Chikorita, which is a Pokemon that would need some attention. It's a sauropod found all over France and could lean into the beauty fairy aspect. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I think another thing is like, and this will kind of come together later on, but like the starters also need to like complement each other well, right? Like we're not going to have 3 of the bird starters, right? Like
yeah, a lot of people say that too. You know, like if we get Piplup and Torchic, you know, I can't see them doing 2 birds, even though they're 2 different kinds, like very different kinds.
Hey,
I think Chikorita gets
one game gave us 2 reptiles and an amphibian.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean,
but
that's
the beginning.
But that's what Kanto. That was Kanto.
The second one, 2 reptiles and a mammal.
Yep.
Then a reptile, an amphibian, and a bird.
There we go. Then they started. That's when the patterns actually started. They're like, let's change this up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna put Chikorita in mid.
I don't know. I'm just thinking like if Snivy, let's just try to eliminate the 4 at the top, right? If Snivy's not there, what's our next grass starter that could be there? When you look at
Trico, but Trico's has a mega.
Can we rule out Quaxley, Sprigatito, and Fuecoco?
No, I don't. I don't want to. I really don't want to.
I would put them in not likely.
I would put them where Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle are. Is what I'm saying.
Really?
Yep.
You don't think they would want to maybe pick? No, because that was the last game that we played.
They're literally the last ones that we had.
Right.
I don't think it's happening.
I think the next game, the only reason why I think it's maybe possible is if one of those end up. Here's the thing. What if they just give it to us and they have regional forms, but they're not our starter? No, that's not happening. I think because Paldea is geographically connected to Kalos, that makes me want to say, oh, maybe it'll change differently in this region.
That's not confirmed information.
Yeah,
that's a fan assumption that they're connected, but
they're connected. I think they're connected.
No regions are connected except for the Japanese ones, as far as we know.
No. Okay.
I could also see
maybe it's
I could
not.
see them getting megas, but I don't think they will be our starters. Our starters in this game are not the first Pokemon I choose between are not going to be Fuecoco, Quaxley. And
that's fair.
Basically for the same reason as the PLA starters. And I mean, here's the thing: like we know that there were cut Terrastal forms as like a leak happened. That's probably was a situation. So they might have gotten Terrastal forms. So that does make me feel like
maybe they get megas.
There's a form there behind them somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe they use them in this game. Maybe they use them in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I still think that just because they were the last ones, it makes it unlikely. So, not likely is where I would put them as well. So, I think that not likely is shaping up pretty nice.
All right, that sounds good. So we got. So yeah, you're right. If Snivy is not going to be chosen for PLZ,
who do we got?
Yeah, let's move these up here just temporarily. We're going to dethrone them. Mm-hmm. What's crazy is like Snivy. I love Snivy, so I'm like,
I love Snivy.
I just would like to see it get a new form. That would be cool. I think Chikorita.
So bad.
Here's the thing. I think Turtwig is a great choice for the Kalos region because as it grows up, it gets this like wild. It gets a tree on its back. It gets this like this rocky terrain on its back that represents a mountain. And I'm like, if this is an industrial region, if we're in Kalos and there's all this like technology and infrastructure,
Kalos industrial.
Yeah,
Paris.
Yeah, Paris is.
It didn't feel like it's not as on the nose. I feel like as say Unova or Gallery.
No.
I think it is. It's one of the biggest. It's like one of the most iconic cities in the world. It's a city. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's not so industrial though. But yeah. I get
it's and I could see Turtwig being right. It's the only starter that has a landscape on its back to mirror maybe the themes that we're predicting of like the industrialization of Kalos,
bro.
Wait, and Zygarde being the protector of the ecosystem. I could see it being kind of cool that Turtwig would evolve in this region to maybe get a steel type, and I don't know. I don't think it's gonna look like Arcalodon. I don't think it's gonna look like that, but I could see it having some other elements that are to kind of contrast the traditional tree on the back of Torterra.
Do you think that would be cool, or could you see it?
I could see it. I think I could see it. I mean, what's the difference?
See, what I was trying to do is I was trying to give I did very minimal research with this tweet, but I was trying to give there's reasons for it.
Is that not a reason?
Myth. No, there's a myth that
you wanting it's not a reason. No.
I just gave you the reason.
Listen. There's a myth that involves a turtle in Paris or in France, and that's why it could be Turtwig. But there isn't that, as far as I could tell. In my very limited research,
okay.
If there's someone in the comments that knows French history or something about turtles that happened, or something about bio ecosystems, anything that's related to Turtwig that would give it a reason to get a regional form or even a mega, maybe. That would give it more of a reason to be one of the starters. But I was laughing before because with your explanation of that, another thing that we didn't add into this crazy speculation is we don't know what time this is set in. And so if they are actually future versions, then we could get anything.
Sure.
It could be even crazier. We're assuming it's more from the past version. Listen, so that they base it on a legend or something.
I think it's fair to assume that, right? If we're looking at Legends Arceus, it's fair to assume some of these things.
Yeah, we don't have to go into it because we've gone into it at nauseum. But
we have to just create some create some controls here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. For the situation that we're in.
I think like I said, I think also the Sinnoh starters not being chosen for Legends Arceus,
yes,
kind of also puts it up as an option there, right? That's an old classic region.
I agree with that.
I do.
I do think another thing too that we have to think about, as a point towards the Unova starters here, is that it wasn't just because Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl had just come out that we didn't see Piplup, Turtwig, and Chimchar as our Hisui starters. It was also because if they're getting regional forms, Piplup shouldn't have a regional form in the Hisui region, Right. So, that's the thing too, is Snivy, Tepig, and Oshawott could have a form in the Colosseum region because it's not Unovan. Now, again, I don't think Oshawott will be there for the reasons we've already stated, but I just want to state that there is a lot of stuff with I feel like there's potentially a lot of points towards Tepig.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What are the points?
Also,
that's
Tepig.
I've seen chef. I've seen French.
Cooking.
France is iconic for its cooking, for the French cuisine.
Yeah, it's for the cuisine, and also they eat a lot of pork. It's a big thing.
I love it.
There.
That'd be cool.
I think it's less likely if there is a black and white remake. That's another thing.
Yeah, of course.
It's the only one that is left because Oshawott's not going to be in it for sure. So it's I don't know, but yeah, that's the only thing with Tepig. And other than that, there's not. I mean, there are stories there's a lot of stories surrounding pigs, so I think Tepig has a good chance.
I like that. Tepig's cool too because it does feel kind of I was gonna say underbaked, but that would be a pun.
Undercooked.
Undercooked, yeah. I like it. I think it's not appreciated in the fandom. I think
I don't want it to be Tepig though, bro. I don't want
if it was
Emboar.
Tepig, that'd be cool.
I mean, you know what though? The fact that you don't want it to be Tepig is probably a reason
why it should be. Yeah, absolutely.
No, but I don't know how you fix Emboar. I really don't.
What do you
I
mean?
don't either.
There's so many. You just don't make it a fighting type.
Maybe if they put it on all fours and like give it a snout like a pig, then I might like it.
Maybe
Here's another thing.
Just kind of like told us like, hey, this doesn't exist anymore. We're sorry.
Yeah, it's like more of a different evolution than actually Emboar.
Yeah. So here's another thing. For the most part, like the Hisuian forms, the Hisuian starter forms, they for the most part have the same silhouette as the previous. Like obviously all regionals stay within the lines of like what the original Pokemon was. Some of them can get kind of wacky, but the starters, especially as iconic as starters are, they do need to stay pretty similar. I think Decidueye changed the most.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, what, you know, when it comes to fixing a starter or like getting a design that you prefer, I think you're right. I think you're right. So like, if you don't like Emboar, you probably won't like, this new.
I mean, it might make it a little better. It might make it a little better.
It'll have like a different face, or not a different face, but it'll have like a different maybe personality. And
that's really the problem with Emboar though, is like
in a different color, maybe.
Don't like its face, so it's like not savable because
I could see it like
I'm so cool with Emboar's body.
I could see it like having having like a jolly nature.
My guy has no neck.
Yeah, it's cooking, dude. It's a pig. Pigs don't have necks.
What if it was on all fours?
It's not. That's
anyway.
That's not gonna happen. That would be a regional
Everything else
evolution.
I actually like the rest of Emboar, but yeah. Anyway,
what about Poplio? Because you have like it's got some clown aspects and like mimes in France, you know.
I think Poplio has a good chance because of I also take in the themes of Kalos and beauty and fairy type. Like it's right there.
But it's not
the same
it
with
wouldn't be a
Chikorita.
fairy type.
How do you know?
Because
you don't know.
It's gonna. What
Could
is it?
Be if it gets a mega.
Oh, okay, that's true. We're doing mega. Okay, that does really freak us out.
Yeah,
that's
what
like
I mean.
It's like which direction are we going with this?
We don't know which. Well, you have to kind of consider both because they could go in either direction.
I could see this in Kalos. That's interesting.
If it got a mega, it would be very likely like they just beef it up, basically make more. Yeah,
it would be though. You know, it also would be interesting to like go the regional form route with it and do, like I said, like, you know, clowns are kind of similar to mimes and go the mime route with it because Primarina is so focused around sound, like it's singing, and a mime is silent. So like that would be kind of a cool like
that's interesting.
I think it has a good chance.
Water dark, you know. Which
mermaids.
Lame,
I like water dark because mermaids are seen to be like visual. I don't know. I grew up with like the Little Mermaid. Oh, they're nice. They're good. They're good little Disney creatures. But no, I'm pretty sure in reality, in original mermaid tales, they're like they lure you and then destroy you.
Pirates of the Caribbean, they're evil.
Yeah, exactly. So that's cool. I could see that.
The only thing is like with water dark, it's like the last Legends game, Samurott was water dark.
Oh, true.
But I don't think
that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
A deal breaker because you have Hisuian, Typhlosion, Fire Ghost, and then Skeletor is just Fire Ghost.
Yeah.
But you also have Froakie in this region, and whether he's a starter or not, whether he's handed to you by the professor, they're going to be prominent, right? Because you know they're the Kalos starters.
That's a good point.
And Greninja's Water Dark.
That's a good point. So maybe not Water Dark, but maybe Water
Ghost.
I was gonna say Ghost. Yeah.
Died.
Right. Yeah. That's actually kind of
awesome.
Cool. I'm imagining
awesome.
like, I would love fallen soldier.
I would love a flip flop of Primarina, like to become something dark instead of this.
I mean, I'm sure
if you know what, its hair could be like a wisp of ghostly energy, right? Mm-hmm. That's like the spirit leaving its body. That's kind of cool.
Yep.
I think they would lean into the mermaid aspect more. That's what So.
That's interesting. I'm honestly down.
It's a good option, I think.
I'm down for that. I'm totally down for that. Where are we putting this?
I almost feel like there should be another tier, but
where would the tier be? PLZA is like.
Why the heck do you have Turtwig at the very top?
I don't know. I'm trying to separate this. And you guys haven't been saying anything.
It's under construction.
I'm just trying to separate. Like right now, it's like these are things that we like. These are what people think, and there's no reason to like knock them down. I mean, honestly,
Maybe there
knock
should be
them down.
Maybe
a
you should
less
make
tier.
like a section for like our dark horse like picks.
Yeah.
You know, so like your dark horse pick. Would
I
be,
just
like,
I don't think at the end of this we're gonna come out being like these are them. So I don't know if there should be a
I
PLZA
think
tier.
no. I would like to do that. By the end of this, I would like all of us to.
You would like to, but it's almost impossible.
No, at the end of this,
That's
each of
not
us are
going to
gonna.
happen.
At the end of this, each of
I'm
us
not
are gonna
gonna be certain.
just lock in
Okay.
something, and that's your prediction.
All right. Well,
Because I know you guys will in the comments down below.
We should
let's
probably
just-
go ahead and put like Fennekin, Froakie, and Chespin in probable, right? Because that very well could happen that we just straight up get the Kalos starters with Megas.
Yeah, that's confusing.
It is, but yeah, I don't think they
X
get regional
and Y,
forms, though.
we're not getting X and Y remakes. We haven't played X and Y since 2013. They absolutely could just go.
I don't think they're getting regional forms though. So like when you throw that into the
No,
mix,
they
it's like
no.
it's like what do
No,
you do? Like so they're
Yeah,
probable for Mega.
Yeah, there we go. X and Y starters. I could see them as like gift Pokemon. You know, you get them.
Let's put
You get them in the
Totodile
game.
at the very top because I really, really want it.
No, but that's not a reason.
There is
But
a
I
good
really
reason.
want
If you check my tweet, there's
I
a
really
good
want it
reason,
too.
actually.
I'll put it up here.
I think it has a good chance.
Totodile.
Go to the
Myths
go to
and
the
history about Crocs and Paris
the
sewers
Crocs and the sewers.
in the Seine River. Bro.
I actually spelled that river wrong. But yeah, here you can
Meet Eleanor,
Read
the
it.
crocodile found in the Paris sewers in 1984. Did you know that back in 1984, council workers discovered a little crocodile living in the sewers? Dude, this has to be it. In the Seine River in Paris, and apparently putting a dent in the local rat population. Oh, I love that. I can see that in the decks where they go like it ate up all the local pat rat or whatever. The crocodile was captured by dude. A lowland rattata has to be in Kalos. The little French rat.
yeah.
The
Maybe just
crocodile was
Rattata.
captured by brave workers, taken to the nearby Paris Zoo, then transferred to an aquarium in remote France, never to be heard of from again. This is honestly awesome.
This is Totodile regional form.
Bro.
Like, it should happen.
I love
I
that.
think it has a high chance.
All right, Totodile's
Yeah.
I'm putting Totodile up here.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything's going to be this is the thing. Everything's going to be probable unless
I think that's
and then we
that's
can
the way
just
to go.
decide on our pick up here after.
Watch, it's going to be because Dusty, you just made like a random like little tier there with Chikorita, Tepig, and Poplio. That's going to be it.
Oh God,
Because we
help
didn't
us.
predict it. It just you just happen to have it. Or
That
no,
would
it's gonna
actually
be
be the
three
worst
left.
to me.
It's gonna be the three left: Chimchar, Grookey, and Sobble.
Yeah.
2 monkeys.
Well,
I would like that better. 2 monkeys are not happening. No way.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, so we got Chimchar. I just don't see anything about Chimchar. I don't know. I
Chimchar
don't
has-
like Chimchar that much.
Yeah, but that's not a reason.
I know. I'm
Chim-
just telling you.
Chimchar has no reason other than it was a Gen 4 starter that didn't get used in the last game. That's like its strongest thing. But basically, there's not much on monkeys that I could find.
Okay, then I think for that, we got to be a little definitive. I'm going to say not likely.
Anything surrounding like Sun Wukong, its origins there.
No.
No, it's Chinese.
And then
Yeah,
we
but,
got
like,
so
that's
are we going to
Yeah.
eliminate Grookey too?
No, because Grookey has the opposite region. If you go back to the tweet, back to the pictures, I actually posted something because this guy who was from Paris, like literally discovered gorillas. Like,
What?
I think it's a big one, actually. I don't know
Wow.
if you want to
That
read
must
it for the listeners.
That's kinda
Terrifying
cool.
Moment.
Say it again, Lumi.
That must have been a really terrifying moment. Imagine just like walking around, you
Bro.
mind your own business, and a gorilla, but like you don't know what a gorilla is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like,
A
what
gorilla
is
walks
that,
out, but
dude?
You don't know what it is.
I took
Do
my
you-
I took my dog for a walk outside in the middle of the night. I didn't take her for a walk.
And
but
you
I-
saw gorilla.
No, but I brought her out back, and I heard this noise. It was like, "Roof, roof." And I was like, "Is that a growl? What is this noise?" I'm freaking out right now. Is that
Yeah,
a bobcat? Is
I'm
it
sure.
a bear? I think it was a deer that just ran off, but it was really close. It was within like 10, 15 feet of me, maybe like 15, 20. But it was in the woods. It was spooky. But imagine now it's 1800 and there's no technology, and like
Yeah.
no one knows how to read.
Man,
And then you find
Honestly,
a gorilla or an alligator in
this
the.
guy-
Oh my god, dude!
This guy's a real one, not because he discovered the gorillas, but that he discovered the gorillas and lived to tell the tale. You know
Yeah,
what
for
I
real.
mean?
For
How
real, for
many
real.
people you think saw a gorilla before then, but just didn't get to let anybody
Bro,
know?
Jane
They
Goodall
ran
could
away.
never.
They tried to run and died instead. Dusty, you should read it for the listeners. Just
Oh, sure.
that little bit.
Paul Bologna du Chaillu, 1831, disputed, was a
This is also in our time frame of when we think PLZA is going to
that.
happen.
French
If it's
American
the same as
traveler,
Legends
Yeah.
Arceus, it'd be around here.
French American traveler, zoologist, and anthropologist. He became famous in the 1860s as the first modern European outsider to confirm the existence of gorillas and later the pygmy people of Central Africa. He later researched the prehistory of Scandinavia. Interesting.
So-
Scandinavia region, Gen 10.
He looks like Tobias Funke.
He
on
does, dude.
Arrested.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. He looks
I
like
love
Tobias.
that. So to me, that gives Grookey, and it does give Chimchar a little bit of
No, but
reason
Chimchar,
too.
no.
Chimchar is a chimp. Okay, let's
so
just
he's
say
not.
that, but
Chimchar is not likely. I'm with you with Grookey though. That's kind of interesting.
I think it could be Grookey. I really think it could be Grookey for grass starters. Like, as if Snivy is not there,
Yeah.
it's just like, for me, it's between Chikorita and Grookey. Like, those are the two. My
Where were
picks
the
for grass
drums
starters.
invented? Because then that's another thing. It's like, does
That's a
France
good-
have
Probably
that's a
not
good call.
France.
You never know, dude. A Google search just will blow your mind. I was like, crocodiles in Paris, and I got Totodile like
Yeah,
under
yeah,
in the
yeah.
sewers.
But there's probably a story like that
Not
in every
really
single
have
region.
them invented by one place though.
You're going in and out, Lumi. What'd you
Let's
say?
see. Oh, sorry. Okay, so the drum. I figured they had to go like way back beyond beyond France. It's like, so there's artifacts in China that suggest that there were some kind of form of drums made from alligator skins, but then they also see in Mesopotamia, they also see it in Egypt. So it's kind of just like
they go back.
everyone made their own drums, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it just was a thing.
It's just
They've
like
probably been from the beginning of
hitting
time a drum.
things. And
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah, I mean,
Wow,
it's a
music.
pretty basic concept.
I think
right? like
better-
you just kind of like, oh, I invented a drum.
A better thing to
The gorilla
search,
thing's
maybe,
cool.
Lumi, is like popular drum. What are they called? Drummers?
yeah, you
What are
want
they
something significant that has
Drummers.
made a cultural impact,
Drum.
right?
called? Popular drummers, French drummers, or like cultural, drumming from France or something like that.
Yeah,
That
so
would
I'm
be
gonna
the-
say Chimchar is not likely because we have to eliminate some stuff.
Mhm.
I think we can also eliminate. I don't know. Is Sobble
No,
somewhere in
Sobble
there?
has a good. Sobble has a really good reason.
Dude,
And I
Secret
like
Agents in
it.
Paris?
Look, it's at the it's the last one I wrote it. I almost wanted to add
Right.
a picture too, but I couldn't.
Soul
I
wrote
only-
Sobble is based on a basilisk / Jesus lizard. The basilisk was also a big reptile beast found in many European folktales. Would be amazing to see some become epic. Also, Christianity has a huge history in France, so they could easily tie a Jesus lizard back to that. The thing, not disputing this, but it's like if it's just European, is that really France? You know?
It
like-
is.
I feel like
It's a-
this whole secret agent and in Paris at night is like a vibe too, though. Like that I can kind of see.
Yeah, but I think if they did a regional form, they wouldn't go the secret agent route. It would just be complete. What I'm seeing here is like a literal basilisk, dragon, because they're like a.
Well, it's not going to be a
basilisk was like-
dragon.
No, dude, a basilisk. If you look up basilisk, it's like,
you're
European
thinking like from Harry
dragons
Potter.
that they
That is what I'm
fight.
thinking.
You know,
Yeah, the mythical creature basilisk.
This?
Yes, one of
Yeah,
these
it's in
kind of.
Harry
Well,
Potter.
that's like the classical one, but
Oh, that.
they're basically big snake things. But see, there's the lizard that it's actually based off of. Like, I could totally see them going that route, like just making
Yeah, that's interesting.
a more monstrous Inteleon instead of like.
I can't. I
I don't
can.
know. I feel like they won't change it that much. Though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, I don't think these are like almost what you're describing sounds like a. Well, first off, I don't think it sounds like a starter. I definitely think this Pokemon could exist, but I
This
can't.
is why I hate starters, bro.
I
This is
no,
why I hate
yeah, that's
starters.
valid. That's valid. But I don't see. Let's see. Let's pull up Sobble and its
See them
evolution.
giving it a trench coat and making it like a detective.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Are there famous
Turn that yellow
detectives?
into like a trench coat.
In France?
'Cause, like you have a
Probably.
lot of like, yeah, like you
Like,
also
this
have
is a
to think
person,
too, like
not a
that
dragon?
was even like a whole vibe in Kalos, right? Was in the post game there was this little looker.
Looker.
plot in Lumio City.
I could
True,
see
he could be like more looker based.
I could see detective rather than like assassin or whatever he's supposed
Is
to be.
is there a popular detective from France at all? That's the thing. I'm sure there is.
And so here's the thing.
Either-
I could see Inteleon being a little beefier.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what.
If it gets
what I'm
beefier,
saying.
it might be one of my favorites.
Oh, there's a lot of like fictional ones too. Like
Yeah,
fictional
fictional is
literature and stuff.
yeah, very valid.
Released.
So for me, my whole point is that there is something backing up
Sure.
Sobble being one of them. Like it's very possible to me that Sobble could be one of them.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's how I see
Oh,
it. I mean,
that's
it's
interesting.
it's hard to say because I want it to be Totodile, but also this would be awesome.
I think
I might want it to be this more because Feraligatr is already awesome, and this would make people appreciate Inteleon more. So
I'll say this.
I
think
think water poison for alligator trapped in the Lumio sewers.
dude, that is
I
so
know.
cool. And here's the thing. I think Totodile, same as I think all the Johto starters, they feel because they're monotype, they feel like they're missing something. Like they feel like they need one more element. And because it's been, 20 years or whatever, 25 years since the Johto games, like Game Freak is gonna give them more inspiration. It's gonna give them like a lot of different design elements. Right now, like for alligator, it's just big alligator. That's like all it is, right? It's got a big jaw and it's an alligator and it's a kaiju. Like, but in modern day, I love that Lumi. You give it a poison type, it has that inspiration. Maybe it's a lot. I can see it being a lot sneakier, like a Salazzle or like a crocodile. I don't know. That's cool. I can totally see it like getting this whole new personality. Dude,
Yeah.
Totodile walking around with you and then getting lost in the sewers and becoming that actually just makes sense. Like on your
It does.
journey, you have a regular
But I'm just
alligator.
saying that
Yeah.
my little boy Sobble still has a good chance. That's all
Sure.
I'm saying. Like
Sure.
it could be either of them in my opinion. Like the biggest thing is like the ones that have Paris, that counts even more to me. So like if there was a crocodile in Paris, then it has just that much more
Yeah.
above
Totodile's
it.
going up
Same
there for
with
me.
same with Litten. Like Litten's there. I think Litten because
The shot.
if you go to my tweets, there's all that stuff about how Litten could be one because of the Chat Noir and
Chandelier.
the whole thing about Parisian cats.
Yeah, a cat who uses trickery and deceit to gain power, wealth, and the hand in marriage of a princess for his penniless and low-born master. And it's
Well,
also
this is Puss in Boots. This is Puss in Boots.
okay.
It's something else. But
it says chat boat. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, watch
It was a
language.
French. It was French literature. This was French literature, so
Okay.
that is another cat.
The Puss in Boots one is
well.
actually kind of funny to me because like if we do take a look at Incineroar, a lot of people don't like
Could
it
you imagine?
because Incineroar's playing it's a heel wrestler. It's playing a character, right? And I think that's super in line with Puss in Boots. I could totally see that.
Wait, I have a serious question, and this seriously would impact the if this could happen. So there's a rule like in VGC where you cannot I cannot use 2 Dragonites, right? Can I use like a Cantonian Ninetales and also an Alolan Ninetales?
That's a question
the
for
thing
you,
is-
not us. We don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to
thing
me.
is,
I'm using
like-
both of them.
Well, the thing is because if they give an Incineroar regional form,
Yeah.
then
yeah.
you can use 2 Incineroars.
Well, it might
And-
not have
and
Intimidate.
honestly, that
Yeah.
would be a reason to not do it.
But it
But
might not
dude,
have
if-
Intimidate,
if
so then it won't
got
matter.
a regional form, if it gets a regional form or a Mega, I think Intimidate gets cut. Like it doesn't get Intimidate,
I mean,
and that's it.
I think they should give it another Intimidate where it just comes out Intimidate and then you Mega Evolve it and it intimidates again.
Oh my gosh. I really think people keep saying no way there's gonna be a Mega Incineroar with
I know.
Intimidate.
We
I
got
think
Mega
it's-
Salamence, we got Mega
I think it's
Metagross.
I know, but I think
But
it's a
they don't have
situation.
Intimidate.
It doesn't
Yeah,
apply
I think
to
it's
us.
a situation where it becomes like Garchomp and its Mega is actually worse than
Yeah.
regular.
I could
Incineroar.
totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
do.
I think the goal of its Mega, because the thing is, Incineroar in VGC is actually much more of a support mon. Like you're giving it moves like Fake Out, Knock Off, often like Helping Hand, Parting Shot, moves that are more annoying than they are doing damage. And I feel like if they gave it a Mega, they'd lean more into the like make this a really good physical attacker Pokemon type thing. So it'd be like if you're looking for the Parting Shot, Helping Hand, Fake Out, Incineroar, you're probably not Mega Evolving your Incineroar.
Totally. So I'm looking at Samurot's Bulbapedia page, and it does confirm that Samurott has a different hidden ability from its Hisuian counterpart.
They all do. Typhlosion and Decidueye do as well.
So have no fear, VGC players, Incineroar will likely not have Intimidate if it gets a regional form. But here, so how's this?
A special attack version of Intimidate.
So I'm really not sold on Sobble. I'm really not sold on Sobble. Like all I saw was a bunch of European stuff.
France is in Europe, bro. It's a huge
but
part
so
of it.
is all of the other European countries.
That's
Totodile is specific to France. It's specific to Paris. So I think Totodile gets the vote.
Yes,
we can put it in probable.
With the water type, yes, but no, that's what I'm saying is it's a probable option. Like if you're talking about, like it has reasons, it has multiple reasons why it could be.
Yeah, poor Chimchar is the only one and not likely that's not in a pair.
Well, that's not totally true. Like I think, I don't know.
There's anything.
I think Trico is probably not likely either.
So you were saying Torchic.
Torchic has a good chance
because of what? It's a chicken.
Because of the trailer.
Rooster is a French symbol.
Okay, but the trailer's a good argument, though. I think.
What trailer are you talking about?
The very first trailer that revealed the starter Pokemon returning for the Blueberry Academy. The trailer begins showing Cyndaquil, and then a Torchic runs by it. Then it shows Piplup and Oshawott.
I'm with you.
Then it shows Snivy and Rowlet.
Wow.
I don't think so just because of the two birds, though, bro. The two birds.
So weird. But you're a bird.
No, it's two birds, and also
and Lumi loves
it's a freaking trailer for Blueberry Academy. It's not like anything. They're gonna put a little tease in a trailer for a DLC Part 2. No, man.
Here's the thing.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna be frank with you. I 100% understand what you're saying, but I don't like it.
And it's two birds. Here's the thing. So Torchic also got a lot of love in the original X and Y games.
Also, Torchic has a Mega. That's also a downside.
Well, yeah, that's why they're both. That's why they're all in mid. It's like I could see it.
Punchable.
But wait. Torchic has such a good reason for being probable, if not the fire starter, and that is the freaking rooster. It is the symbol of France. Like,
is it really?
Not even like. If you look it up, I put it on. It's in that tweet. They're basically named after it. Like one of the pictures is it?
No.
One of the pictures. There you go.
Oh yeah. Gaelic rooster on the garden gate of the Elise Palace. Elise Palace in Paris, the official residence of the President of the French Republic during the times of ancient Rome. This person in the 12th Caesars noticed that in Latin, rooster and galley were homonyms. Wait, what? What am I reading right now? Its association with France dates back from the Middle Ages and is due to the play on words in Latin between Gallus, meaning an inhabitant of Gaul, and Gallus, meaning rooster or cockatrice. Its use.
All right, I'll give you a little. Okay, sorry.
By the enemies of France dates to the period. Okay, yeah. It's a
basically,
pun.
Yes, basically it's a pun. Basically, France used to be called Gaul, and the people were called Gallus or Galli, and that was the same word basically as what a rooster was in Latin. So they were called roosters, and it's the symbol of their country. It still has lasted this whole time, and it's a big deal to like be a rooster Pokemon in the French region.
That's cool.
That could be why Torchic was the mystery gift.
That's what I'm thinking. Like that's how maybe why it got its love.
Probably.
They're like, you know what? We're gonna.
But that's probably it.
Mega Blaziken was such a big part of the anime, and
you know what?
Maybe
the
that's protector of Lumio City.
Yeah, dude, that's
there you go.
true.
There you
I
go.
like that.
And maybe that's a big reason why it won't be one of these starters because they've already done like all of that with it.
You guys have kind of sold me on like the, on the mega thing. I'm like, it really might not be regional forms. I think we're under the assumption that they're going to be regional forms, but it is true. We might just end up with some megas.
I'd prefer it be regional forms, but I do think it'll be megas.
Here's a wild idea. What if they actually just go, people want to see megas and people like starters. Let's give
all starters. Megas.
Not all, but like let's give the
gosh.
starters who deserve it, the ones that we passed over, let's give them megas, right? Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. And I'm like, Johto felt like for the longest time, we were like, come on, the Johto starters need a mega. Why are they being skipped over? That's how it felt during that whole period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel personally locked in and invested in Litten. I think that makes a lot of sense to be one of the starters, the fire starter.
Before you do like your final ones, though, there's still one more to talk about, and that's Mudkip.
Yeah.
Those mudfish or whatever they're called that it's based on are found in French Polynesia. So like it was a French colony basically, but it's not in France, but it still has a big connection. Mud skippers, that's what they're called.
Yeah. Aren't they? Isn't it also kind of based on the?
For the record, they don't just live in French Polynesia. There's different types of mud skippers. There's Atlantic mud skippers that I go play with at the beach all the time.
Nice. I didn't know that. I looked it up. Like literally, I'm like, where are mud skippers? Where do they come from, or where do they like reside? And they just gave me French Polynesia, and I couldn't find anywhere else.
I mean, yeah, they've got there's different kinds. Like I said, like there's Atlantic mud skippers are obviously what we find here in the Atlantic, if you can believe it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a like big reason, but it is backed up by something that makes it possible. You know what I mean? That's maybe I'd put it in mid tier if that's where it is, but it's still a reason. So. Yeah, I think we've gone through them all anyway.
Yeah, we'll leave them in mid. I think people might be leaving a lot of comments that we have Snivy, Piplup, and Scorbunny in the mid tier, but I really just come back to the fact that like they are French. They don't need French evolutions. Just to be clear.
No,
for listeners.
I would put them in probable.
You would?
I would put them in probable.
Very Japanese. Why would we do Samurott again for Hisui?
Yeah, that is a huge point.
That's
against
a good point. Yeah.
That whole argument is that Samurott was already a samurai, and now it's a different kind of samurai. So, like, Piplup could be a Napoleon, but then it could not be Napoleon. It could be, like, the French Sun King. You know what I mean? Like, they could change it into another kind of king.
Napoleon holds his head. Like,
what is it?
It's now the guy who got his head chopped off, What was his name? Now he, like,
with a
holds
ghost type.
his head.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that's fair. Can we leave Scorbunny in mid tier? Because I really don't.
No, Scorbunny. I would say Scorbunny is just as likely as.
Why? Because it. Why? It's a bunny.
Legends...
Why? Because it plays.
No, because
plays
it's a soccer player. Yeah,
it doesn't mean anything.
Look, it's not only that.
There's soccer teams all over the world. Like I don't.
I did a whole tweet. Thread thing on Scorbunny being a starter.
Is it in your highlights?
And the main reason is because of skating. Like if Scorbunny is like a sports Pokemon, a sports starter, you should be able to. Yeah, it's in my highlights. But it's a little far down.
It's all right. Just keep talking.
The whole skating thing of Kalos. You rollerblading around the whole thing.
Yeah,
I think that he could get a rollerblading regional evolution, a Cinderace, rollerblading Cinderace. Because
that's actually kind of fire. Yeah, the way that you incorporated that into what the story was.
Right here.
I do kind of like that. I could see it.
It's at the same time. I don't know if you want to read this whole thing, but it's like at the same time frame was when they invented roller skates.
Yeah.
So it's very connected.
That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly could see it for that.
And then there's the soccer thing.
Because I think above all, above all, the thing that we're not considering is like how, like, because we don't have any gameplay. What is this game going to be, right? What are we supposed to be doing in the game? What kind of activities? How, like, what's the gameplay? I think you're right, Soul. This is something that probably is a better reason for why we should get a specific starter, right? Because Game Freak Game Freak's not on the Wikipedia page looking up all these random things. Game Freak is saying, like, this is what we want to do in this region. right?
I would push back.
What's a partner?
They do a lot of research
They
into their
definitely do a lot
design.
of research.
Like
the designers
the
do.
Stewies were insane. The depth of what they were.
I think that's like the designers. I don't think they're thinking like, let's do it backwards, right? I think what happens is like they pick 3 points of inspiration. They make the starters or the designers. Listen, I'm sorry. The top level people are probably saying like, this is what we want. And then the designers, maybe those designers go in and put in all the details that they actually need. But I think what also happens is like then the YouTubers get a hold of it and make a lot of connections.
I don't know. We don't know. We don't know how their process is. It could be completely different, or it could be exactly what you said. That's the thing that's hard with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this has a good reason.
I like this. I like the roller skating bunny. I didn't care, but now seeing this does match the energy of X and Y, right?
If I was reading,
that was a core part.
Yeah, I was reading it a little bit, and it says that a French person is the one that first patented roller skates in the late 1800s, which would be around the same time frame. And like there was a roller skating craze in Europe in the late 1800s. So like that's when everyone was like, we're doing this. Like we're going to the rink and going skating. So there's that. There's also that it's a soccer player. Like France is huge in soccer. I would hate that that's what they would do, but especially in recent times. So like if Game Freak's not really knowledgeable about it, they'd be like, oh, who won the last World Cup? Like, oh, France won the World Cup. It was a big deal. You know, let's make this soccer Pokemon into another soccer Pokemon in a different region.
I don't think it'd be soccer to soccer. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. Soccer
if it's a
soccer.
mega, if it's mega.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Damn. Man, every time I'm like, no, it's got to be regional. It's like, well, it could be mega.
And make it football because, you know, it's football.
I would hate that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I think that would be funny because, like, it's in Galar,
it's football.
Soccer is football. So
it makes sense. Yes,
Cinderace is not a soccer
Come
player.
to New England.
Player.
You know? That would make Cinderace so much worse, though. Can you imagine, like,
and make it other football?
That would make Cinderace worse. I love a skating Cinderace, like changing all of its whole body and giving it like fire blades.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Fire steel.
Yeah, so I Litten and Scorbunny are still up there for me. It's the other two that I pushed back against more.
Where are we going? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that is interesting. The whole roller skating thing is pretty cool. I could see it.
So now if you want to make your PLZA list.
So I guess so Pokemon Legends, I'll just say it for listeners. In the lowest tier, not happening. We got the Pokemon Legends Arceus Pokemon, those starters, Cyndaquil, Oshawott, Rowlet. We've got the X and Y starter or the gift Pokemon. I feel pretty good that it's going to be Chespin and Fennekin and Froakie. I could also see, honestly, Bulbasaur, Charmander.
Yes, I agree.
Squirtle being gift Pokemon. And truthfully, now that I think about it, the Hoenn starters, because they also have Megas, I could also see those being gift Pokemon. I'll leave them in the mid tier. I'll say not likely is going to be the Paldean starters. That's Fuecoco, Quaxley, and Sprigatito. I also don't think Chimchar is very likely. I haven't heard a good argument for it.
It's more likely than Hoenn, though.
I don't know.
Yeah,
more likely than Trico.
Honestly,
Trico doesn't need to be like, you don't have to group them together. Like I think Trico could go to not likely as well. I think put Chimchar and Trico in there.
Well, the only reason why I kept them together is because the Hoenn starters do have those megas. So that is a really good. I think that
it doesn't mean that they're not going to be in the game. I'm just talking about them being our starters. Like
absolutely. I'm talking about them being our starters. Exactly. So I'm like, I almost want to take them out because I'm like, if they have megas and we're trying to be categorical about this, then they wouldn't be able to be chosen as starters.
It's too hard to tell because we just don't know if we're going to get megas or regional forms.
So I'll move.
Like if you get megas, then they're no.
This clarifies it for me. Out of this kind of like eliminates all of those Pokemon, this current ranking, and then we can take a look at. So not likely is the Paldean starters because that was the last games we played. That does make sense to me. Even though I would like to see them.
I'd put Chimchar back in there too, though, and I might even put Turtwig in there because I don't.
To not likely.
Turtwig has no reason other than there's turtle myths somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd put Turtwig in mid.
I think Turtwig like just looks like a Pokemon that could
It does look like a Pokemon. I cannot deny that.
That needs a new form.
The Gen 4 ones are more likely just because they weren't given anything in the last one. That's really...
We could put it in mid. That sounds fine. Let's sort out the probable list. Chikorita, what are we thinking?
The probable looks good to me. Like that, I think all of those are probable.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it. I don't know about you guys, but
we gotta lock one in at the top.
We're gonna have different answers for the top.
Well, what are your answers?
Do you have any, Lumi? I'm just thinking still.
I'm gonna go last because I know y'all ain't gonna like mine.
What?
Say yours. No, you have it figured out. I don't have it figured out.
Okay. Chespin, Finnegan, and Froakie.
Damn.
And they're getting Mega Evolutions.
After all of this, I do agree that they shouldn't be in that whole category of those other Pokemon.
Well, I moved them down there just to say that they are down there.
Probable.
They're gonna be Pokemon that we get.
This is what you should maybe do. You should just put the Kanto starters and the Hoenn starters in not likely, and then move the X and Y gift starters to like second place, because they're just such a wild card that they could be.
Yeah.
They really could be the ones if they decide.
I'll make one more. I'm gonna make gift Pokemon, and I'm gonna make X and Y starter Pokemon.
All right.
At the end of the day, I think we have.
I would put them
X
second
since 2013, so. It's not going to hurt our feelings if the Kalos starters are the starters. And, I mean, they don't have Mega Evolutions. They'd be great Pokemon to receive them. Also, if I am to look at it from a competitive standpoint, Finnegan and Chespin especially could use the Mega at the end of their line. At the end of the day, I think that they are definitely... it's not what because I know that I'll get someone who's angry at me for saying this. It is not what I want, but it is.
Sure.
This is your prediction. You pointed a gun at me.
Valid.
If you pointed a gun at me and you said, name the starters for Legends EA, I would tell you Chespin, Finnegan, and Froakie.
I love it. I respect that.
I cannot discount the regional form aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like if we're getting regional forms,
to me that's where my focus is. Yeah.
I feel like they're moving away from regional forms, like in general.
I do agree with that, but I just really think that they're still gonna do regional forms for.
I think regional forms in main generations are feeling a little bit arbitrary. I think what they decided to do was put, and we'll see. I think it makes more sense for regional forms to be attached to these to this time period game. I think regional forms are so much more effective in Legends Arceus and the Hisui region, right? Than they do in just here's a bunch of Pokemon that have sort of have inspiration from Galar and they all have a mustache. I'm like, who's getting excited about Mr. Rhyme?
I like Mr. Rhyme.
No.
I feel like though with another thing too is that if they give us hypothetically if they give us Snivy, Piplup, and Linton, I feel like instantly all the fans know, Serperior, Incineroar, and Empoleon are either getting regional forms or they're getting Mega Evolutions. So I feel like it's another thing. It's it keeps the element of surprise. If we reveal Froakie, Finnegan, and Chespin,
we still don't know.
We will say, they're going to get Megas. But there will be a lot of people who go, well, they did that because they're the Kalos starters. Yeah. Nothing new. So then them getting a Mega Evolution still is a surprise.
Sure, that's a good point. You reveal the starters.
I just think getting just Megas is weak. I even did a poll on Twitter, what do you prefer? And, tons of people responded to the poll. What do you prefer? Do you want regional forms or do you want Megas for the final evolutions of your starters? And everyone wants regional forms. Everyone wants regional forms.
That is true, but I also put out a poll and asked people if when they walk into Mesa Gozo, if they prefer to fall through the map of Paldea or not. And most of them said they don't want to fall through the map of Paldea when they go into Mesa Gozo. And
I know it doesn't matter. I know it doesn't matter. It matters what Game Freak's going to do, but it's sucky to just get megas unless, we talked about earlier, megas are changed some way.
I'm with you. In a perfect world, my dream scenario would be like Snivy, Totodile, Litten, and they've got regional forms at the end. But
But that's your dream. But what is most likely? That's the thing for me that I'm.
Yeah,
thinking.
that's the thing.
My
and
dream
for
is
me, I feel
different.
like most likely we're getting Mega Chestnut, Mega Delphox, and Mega Greninja.
Okay, but if you had to pick regional forms,
I'm just gonna say it. That would suck.
That would suck.
Really
I'd be
upset.
disappointed.
Yeah.
Lumi. So you actually
strap in for disappointment.
So
I know I'll be upset. I'll be upset, man.
Here, I'll say this. I think it doesn't really matter to me what the grass starter is. I think
it's important.
No, it is important. I think, like I said,
I agree with you.
I think after today, Litten is a fan favorite, or Incineroar is a fan favorite, and I think Game Freak has an opportunity to give it a new form that also kind of matches the personality of Incineroar, which is it's a cat that is playing a role. It's an actor of some sort. So whether it's the Chat Noir, what is it, Le Chat Noir, or
watch your language,
or Puss in Boots. Sorry, that's part of my French. I think
pardon my French.
I think Litten would be a great candidate for the fire starter. And honestly, I was sold by just how adorable the idea of starting with Totodile, and then as you travel the streets and the sewers of an old Paris, right? Your Totodile just gets like infected and fills the role of that one-off kind of notorious crocodile that was swimming around in the sewers, eating all the rats. Right? That is hilarious to me. I could see
and the people.
Yeah, I could see that. So that is so cool. And what I like about it also is that it's not wish fulfillment. It's not, yes, finally we have a fighting water type or dark water type or dragon water type for alligator, because that's what for alligator always should have been. Instead, it's saying, no, this is a very particular thing and it's poison type, not because you wish I like that it's not fixing original for alligator. I like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. They don't do that.
It's actually a regional form. It's a sidestep.
No,
I do think they try to do that.
In Legends Arceus. In Legends Arceus, I don't think they did. A lot of people, I think, thought that if Samurott was getting a regional form, it was going to be either water steel for swords or water fighting. And so the water dark was a bit of a curveball.
Which I love.
I don't think anybody would have said fighting type to fix Decidueye.
No. And no one said fire ghost either. Right? People were saying
I feel like people said fire dark is what I saw a lot.
Yeah, fire dark because of the rage, or fire ground because it's a volcano. And it's like you're just trying to fix original Typhlosion. So that's great. What type would the Shat what is it? The Puss in Boots Incineroar?
I think it'd be cool if they did go with
Fire
a Puss
Fairy.
in Boots
Fire
thing.
Fairy, because it's
they
like
just
playing
did
make-believe.
firefighting, bro. What if they did
firefighting?
Firefighting
Could be it too.
I
Wow.
could see it.
Yeah,
I could see it.
I like the idea of Incineroar
becomes firefighting.
I could see Incineroar having like a really long one claw that it sends out, and it works like a
sword.
Yeah, a sword. That'd be kind of coul.
But he has thumbs, doesn't he?
Yeah. So
opposable thumbs. So
I could see
it
doing this, so it looks like a sword. Fire Fairy is
kind of fun,
guess.
actually.
That'd be kind of cool.
Dusty.
Yeah.
Not that I would like it. I really wouldn't like it still.
Like the Wolverine.
And then here's the thing: for a grass type, I honestly think Snivy could still be it. That'd be cool.
Agreed. Snivy is still, if of the grass starters, like if it's not the Kalos starters, like I think Snivy would be my pick.
Shoot, you know
So
what I
you
just
guys
noticed?
you end up with your like normal picks that you always had picked.
It
feels like that would be nice.
Here's the thing: I actually don't think this.
I mean, who do you think's more likely than Snivy, though, Soul?
No. Wait. I don't think.
I think it's between Chikorita and Grookey. I don't think Snivy's in the mix.
Yeah, so I'll say this: I don't think this is gonna be it because, well, one, it's two reptiles with Totodile and Snivy, but then also, this directly parallels the generations that were picked in Pokemon Legends Arceus, which I don't like because that means everyone's going to be assuming the next set of starters
But that's fun.
In another
actually.
Legends game.
Yeah, that's cool though.
No, because
it has to be the same.
It gives up the surprise.
It
gives up the surprise. It gives up the surprise of the starters for another Legends game. Like literally, I can see everyone being like, "It has to be this then." So honestly, no Snivy because it's already French. Yeah. I'll pick. I think Grookey could be cool.
I would.
Okay. Turtwig would be nice too.
I think that's a definitely an option that I think I have like a few lineups basically. This is one of them. It makes sense because they're all from those different generations.
Yeah.
But then so when you try to like put in another one, you swapping out the generation. So like if you took out Litten for Score Bunny, then you have to change Grookey because they couldn't be two of the same. Snivy. So then it would be Chikorita, and then you're like, oh, well, I got to change Totodile. So then,
yeah, that's a good point.
Then it would
here
be
comes Sobble or Piplup, yeah.
Yeah, so then it'd be Piplup. I think ultimately I would go. Oh, it's so hard to say.
I like the idea of Grookey not being a drummer, but instead being maybe that's the chef, and it's got a bunch of pots and pans, right?
It's not a bad.
That's like straight up from Tarzan, I think.
I want it to be the banjo. That would be funny.
That'd be cool. It does have the caveman thing.
France, but
a part of me is like Chikorita, Litten, and Piplup is a part of me wants to say, because if you have Chikorita, you don't have Totodile. So it's like, ugh.
I think this is it right here. It's this or it's Turtwig.
Turtwig's a wild card for sure, but it's not. There's no reason for it to be Turtwig, really.
Yeah.
But there's no reason for it to not be.
Yeah, that's why they're
actually,
all
I just polled my
options.
dog. What's that? And my dog said it's going to be Turtwig.
Really? Because your dog just called me and said that you're trying to speak for her, and she didn't say that.
Actually, she just told me that was actually a prank call by someone else because she doesn't even talk. So how would that happen, Lumi? Are you lying?
I don't know. I think another dog called me.
Ruby dooby doo.
Bro, I think it's either this, what we have, and I think we'll just leave it at what we have. But I think that it's very possible that it could be Chikorita, Score Bunny, and Piplup.
Chikorita,
Score Bunny. Put that combination up there then.
Piplup.
That's
y'all's predictions. Dude. I like that he would not give my prediction. It has to have its own category.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, because
we have separate with megas.
Yeah, and also Lumi, yours isn't fun, so it doesn't get priority.
I know. I told you wouldn't like mine.
Oh man, I like, honestly, I can see this. I actually can see this. And here's another thing: these three Pokemon look a lot different, right?
Yeah.
But see, you know what's the beautiful thing with my prediction? Like y'all said, if y'all see this, you'll be disappointed. If I see it, I will not be disappointed. And if I see y'all's predictions, I'm gonna be freaking hype. You know, that's the beautiful thing of my prediction.
I think your prediction is.
But here's the thing:
you're
it's
depressed.
just like if your prediction were regional forms, I would be hype. But because they're just megas, then I would not be hype about just mega.
That's what
starters,
dude,
bro.
I'm gonna be 100% legit with you. I don't know if I think there will be any kind of new Pokemon in this game other than Mega Evolutions and a new Legendary, maybe two new Legendaries.
I know.
There will be
when
more regional
first
forms.
Dropped,
there will be more regional forms.
Bro, I don't know. I don't know.
I promise you. I promise there'll be more regional forms. Regional forms were so integral to Legends Arceus, right? And the gimmick there, the battle gimmick was strong and agile style, right?
But they ended the trailer with...
I know, so they're going to give us megas.
Crazy megas.
They're going to get us megas. That doesn't mean they're not going to give us other things, right?
Yeah. I would move the probable up to second place, actually.
What is it?
The probable, I'd move probable up to second place.
You know what? I think I'd move X and Y starters down to the bottom.
No. Definitely not. They have a high chance.
Game Freak also looks, in my opinion, Game Freak also looks at like how many designs they're drawing up. And so, like, it's not about, like, we like to think, okay, well, a Mega we only use in battle. But I think Game Freak's thinking, okay, how many new designs are we creating? And my thing is, I feel like they would opt to give us 30 new Megas rather than 10 new Megas, 15 regional forms, and 4 evolutions.
I agree, and it's sad. It's really sad. I would also move Torchic up to probable.
No, I'm gonna just leave it with the gift Pokemon.
I looked at the whole thing and I was like, dude, Torchic should be up there.
I don't think
It was in that trailer.
It was in the trailer, and it's literally.
I'm gonna leave
French
it there
symbol,
just for just it's categorized.
They don't have to stay together, bro.
Yeah, but listen, here's the thing: if Torchic is allowed, then the other two are as well.
No.
Yes.
They don't have a reason to be there. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no reason. There's no famous gecko lizard in France.
Yes, there is.
Yes,
sure there
is.
I'm pretty sure there was a commercial where the Geico lizard went there.
What's that? No. Wasn't there actually a game where it was like this gecko spy gecko agent?
I'm sure there's something.
There was. I know exactly what you're talking
on
about.
the Game
but I
Boy.
can't think of the name. Yes, I know exactly.
My
what you're
friend
talking
had
about,
it,
but
and
can't
I
think of the
loved
name.
playing it whenever we hung
He's
out.
a gecko and he's a spy. It's a real
Are you
thing.
talking about Gex?
Maybe, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a real thing, dude. It's a French.
He's not French though. No, he's not French.
What is he? He's not. Don't say Italian.
Oh, he's American. I'm pretty sure.
Let's see.
He had like
British.
an
Yeah, that
attitude.
is it.
He's British.
Let's see.
Gex sounds
is-
British.
And he's an anthropomorphic, television-obsessed
They
gecko.
always
who
gotta
must travel
emphasize that
through
it's
the media
anthropomorphic.
dimension.
Let me see. Gex.
I don't think he has a
think he's
nationality.
from the media dimension.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Gex. Enter the gecko.
I don't know what this has to do with France in any way.
Trico is gonna be it. Can we thank our sponsors? Or honestly, they are sponsors.
Yeah, we sure can.
I want to start.
Ready?
They are sponsors. Yeah.
I just don't. I see what Dusty did here. He put Chimchar and Turtwig together because they're literally Gen 4, bro.
What?
You put them together. What?
I'm not trying to do
Anyway,
anything. I had Chimchar at not
There you go.
likely, and then I said I'll just move
That's
it up.
right.
Just for
No.
clarity's sake.
All right.
What? You think it should be higher?
No, I think it should be lower. And not
Yeah, I'll
likely.
move it lower. Sure. Listen, I honestly think Turtwig is not that crazy. You're right. It doesn't have a region.
It's
though.
not that crazy,
So
but
it's
it
just
doesn't
kind
have
of
a reason,
like
so-
wild card.
Mhm.
That's fair. All right,
And
that sounds good.
Torchic should be higher, but
I'm
that's
down
where
for
we're
this.
at.
That sounds
Cool.
good. Lumi, where'd you go?
I'm right here.
Let's thank
We
our
can't
sponsors.
see you.
Listen.
We can't see you.
Wait, have you?
Yeah. I'm
Did you
sorry.
mute? Has this been muted the whole time? I can't even see you.
No. Okay, so we want to thank our mythical tier supporters. Hayden Segal, Indiana Jenkins, Ryan, Candace Wendy's, Coronet Highlander, Tyler Lowe 15, Sully the Skeleton, Matt Hale, the Poke Kid 01. We want to give a special shout out to our Arceus tier supporters, Young Smokey, Case, and Hayes, and a Gigantamax sized shout out, or perhaps for this video, a mega evolved shout out for Drogain, Bramtastic, and Rilo, our Game Freak Inc. level supporters.
Insane. Thank you guys so much. You know what was funny? I was in another
awesome.
live stream and Drogain was chatting it up and someone goes, "Is this the Game Freak Incorporated Drogain?" And I was like, people are being recognized through their support of Hidden Power.
Through their support.
You're incorporated with
So
Game
you're
Freak.
famous.
Yeah,
You
but
work with Game
honestly, thank you guys so much. Just in the last 2 weeks, I've had so many new people enter the Discord, have just
been
become new
awesome.
subscribers. You know what happened? We actually asked people to subscribe, and a ton of new people actually subscribed. So we got to start doing that. If you're not subscribed
Subscribe.
to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you want your name to be read, if you want to access, because after this we're going to record, or I guess we already did record, an extra hour podcast that you can access. If you become a supporter of the podcast, you can get access to that, as well as all other 20 plus episodes that are in the archive. Help me out, guys. My voice is actually hurting a little bit.
We've got all kinds of things. We've got the archive of Secret Power episodes, and this includes some guest interviews where we get to get a bit more personal with the guests, like learn about how they got into Pokemon and all that. It also includes just some
Those are so much
episodes
fun.
of just the three of us chilling, talking. We also have a Discord. There's tons of little chat rooms for
Secret
people
Discord.
to chat in.
That's what we're in right now. We're recording in it right now.
And then we also have a league in there with like gyms, an Elite Four, and a champion you can take on.
That you play in
also
Scarlet Violet,
have-
obviously.
Sometimes we've done 2 already.
one of the
and we
Elite Four
definitely
members.
Plan to do more, but we also do like live call-in shows with our
Mm-hmm.
with our patrons and members. So like
Those
it
are so
allows
fun.
you to literally hop on here and talk no different than I'm talking. You can get on here and you can be like, SoulSilverArt, what's it like to have amazing hair? You know, you can
And he'll
literally
answer
do
you.
that.
He'll be like, well, I use
He'll answer you.
L'Oreal.
He's
Laurier."
legally contracted to.
Literally. It's in the fine
Literally.
print. It's in the terms and
My hair right now
descriptions.
is just everywhere anyway. But yeah,
Yeah, what was I else going to say? Oh,
I was gonna say
yeah.
leave a comment, even though we already know that you will. I was gonna leave a comment of what starters you think.
Yeah,
what
that's,
do you
that's,
think?
that
We're
is
gonna
true.
get. It's like the thing to say with this.
I feel
right?
pretty confident about this list.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
feel? We just did the whole
No, I
video.
do.
How do you not? This is your creation.
I just think it's so up in the air. Like after
Sure.
everything that we
Yeah,
talked
there's
about,
like
it's
so many options is the thing.
the
And
point.
like all of them, there's great arguments for.
Yeah, the point
Especially
really is
Chimchar.
that don't just think that it's gonna be Snivy, Piplup, and Scorbunny.
Yeah.
Because
Open your,
really
expand
might
your
not.
mind.
Yeah, that's
You know
the
what we
point.
should do?
What?
You know what we should do? We should do a version of this video, like the same exact videos, but with a bunch of different countries, and do it like what will be the Gen 10 region.
Yeah, that's cool.
Fun,
That'd be fun.
fun.
I wanted to add one more thing.
Uh-oh.
If you become a paying supporter either on Patreon or on YouTube, links are in the description. It's something that we want to do that we've been talking about behind the scenes. There's no promises, but you know, as we go on, these are things that we'll be developing. We talked about maybe doing some Let's Plays, some group Let's Plays, where we'll
That
have
sounds
some
so
sort of sets or rules, like maybe it's a Nuzlocke kind of thing, where if let's say we're playing through Emerald, let's say, and we're all on the stream together, right? And this is going to be Patreon only content. Let's say, you know, we roll a dice, Lumi gets to choose the starter, but then Soul gets to choose whatever we catch in the next route, and then I get to choose whatever we get in the next route. And maybe like we're nicknaming each other's Pokemon. There's maybe some competition, some infighting potentially. That sounds super fun. Another thing that we talked about doing for bonus content are reactions, watch-alongs to some of the old anime movies. I have not watched those old Pokemon movies in so long, but I think it'd be a lot of fun to maybe all get on with some popcorn, watch it through, record our reaction. We'll do some speculation. That's another thing that I'm thinking about that I think could be a lot of fun. And also, one more thing. This is happening. This is a definite, dude. Well, you know what's happening? I'm playing Pokemon Snap. New Pokemon Snap. I got the thumbnail
I'll believe
ready.
it when I see
It's
it.
happening, dude. It's happening. I got the thumbnail. I'm so excited. I just wanted to throw those things in here as well. Yeah, let us know what you think is going to be the starter selection. We could get Pokemon Legends ZA news at any point. Yeah,
Maybe today.
literally
The day
that'd be
this is posted.
that would
Maybe
be a
next
little that'd be a little bit
Maybe
deflating.
the day we posted this.
Yep.
Dave,
True.
the starters. Maybe all the comments will be the starter.
We
is
know.
This, you freaking morons. We already know.
Yeah, we'll have to make this paywall just so no one sees it.
So maybe you're already a patron.
Yeah, you might already be, depending on how this shakes out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to support us, subscribe, click this video right here, and we'll see you soon.
Click it.
See you guys.
Click the video.
Bye.
Bye.